It's beginning to look a lot like Vlogmas. Yarn in every store. But the prettiest sight to see is the sweater that's made for me under your Christmas tree. Hello everyone, today is December 1st, 2019. Do you know what that means? It means Vlogmas is here. Welcome to my humble abode in Brooklyn, New York. My name is Shamika, otherwise known as Mekamika, and I will be doing Vlogmas this year. As you can see, the tree is right behind me. We brought it up from the basement last night, and at some point within the next week, I think, we're going to decorate it. I'm still having a little tiff with my mom because she wants this to be white and gold, and I want it to be rose gold and white. So we'll see how that works out. But anyway, aside from that, we're just very excited for the holiday season to be here, full of love, laughter, cheer, and of course, lots of knitting. So I will definitely get to that. First and foremost, I know you guys have missed me, and I've heard from so many of you throughout the times of going to different knitting events. What happened to your blog? What happened to your... Okay, so this is what happened. We revamped the whole kitchen and dining room area in my house. So when I usually record, it's upstairs in the living room, and I have my background behind me and everything's nice and beautiful, of course, you know, for TV. But we had to push all of the belongings that belonged into the kitchen and living room kitchen and dining room into that space. So I had no space in which to actually sit down and record. And you know how things go with renovations. You think it's gonna take a month, and then it's another month and another month and blah, blah, blah. So it lasted a lot longer than intended, but it's okay. We're at a point right now where we're comfortable with the way in which the house looks. I still don't have my actual recording space, but right now I hope this works out for you because it's very festive. I love it. So yeah, that's basically what happened. So in the time that I have missed recording, I've been to 3 different fiber festivals. I went to the Toronto Knitters Frolic in April. I went to Olann in Ireland in June, and I recently came back from Barcelona Knits Festival, which happened about 2 weeks ago. So I have a lot of content for you that I'm gonna try to splice in throughout the time of Vlogmas so that you don't miss a thing. So I want to get you up to speed on everything that's happened within the past year so that by the time Vogue Knitting comes, we're at a fresh new start and we can figure out what we're gonna do for next year. So where do I start? Let's start with the most recent. I'm going to actually start with things that are on the needles now that I want to complete within the month, because I always try to set a goal for the month of whatever month it is, and this is the end of the year, and I need to like get things done because things have been on the needles. Honestly, I have 6 sweaters minimum on the needles that need sleeves. And it's kind of sad because I could be wearing those sweaters. Like seriously, I could revamp my whole sweater cabinet right now with like 6 additions. But no, they need sleeves. And of course, blocking and all of that, yada, yada, yada. But still, what am I doing? I keep casting on new things. That's my problem. So what I want to do this December is to fully get things completed, get sweaters that have been made. I would like to add the grosgrain ribbon to it and the buttons because I have 2 sweaters that need that so that I can put them in full rotation and everything can be a go for this holiday season / winter season, whatever you want to call it. So where do I begin? Let me start with what happened in November. So as you all know, November is the month of NaNoWriMo. For those of you who don't know what NaNoWriMo is, it's National Knit a Sweater in a Month. So my goal was to start another sweater, but it didn't happen. So what happened was I actually started a sweater in October after Rhinebeck. Liz of TreLiz Yarns was here at my house, and what we did is we picked out some yarn from Stash, and I decided to use that yarn to make a sweater from Bellota magazine because it was a Spanish knitting magazine, and I wanted to go to Barcelona, and I was actually going to spend time with Soraya Garcia, who is the editor-in-chief of the magazine. And, you know, it would have been really cool to just like have the sweater and like be there in the moment with everyone and have the magazine there and the sweater. I was just trying to like make that moment happen. But what happened is I ran out of yarn on the sleeves, and I had to kind of finagle how I was going to do the sleeves. So one of the colors ran out, so I had to modify my colors. And then I decided, you know what, I'm not going to stay up late the night before Barcelona Knits Festival to try to finish these sleeves. I still have a ton of ends to weave in. It's a finger and weight sweater, guys. So it really didn't happen. And I kind of, because Barcelona Knits Festival was in the middle of November, it wasn't necessarily a NaNoWriMo project, but it was kind of, I started it a little bit after October 15th, so you could consider it to be a month-long knitted sweater, but it just didn't work out. It's actually still on the needles, but that is one of the sweaters that I do want to complete at the end of the year, before the end of the year, I should say. And I want to take my time and get the weaves woven, the ends woven in, because it's a lot of ends, because it's a lot of stripes. But the great part is that I was able to use Stash yarn, which is awesome, because I kind of bought more yarn for 2 more sweaters when I went to Barcelona. Yeah, I was at Bien Aimee, and I saw Amy, and we started talking, and she's so cool. And she's just like, so what about a fade? And I'm just like, why not? So I picked up her Grello colorway, and it's absolutely beautiful. And then I did some colors around it to go with the Grello, and I tell you, it is absolutely gorgeous. So that's one of the colors I picked up. And I also picked up, you know, maybe I should get them and actually show you. That would make sense, wouldn't it? It's hard to talk about color when you don't see it. So let me go grab them. Okay, so like I said, it doesn't make sense to talk about color without you actually seeing it. So this is the fade that I got in Barcelona from Bien Aimee, and I'm going to make the Find Your Fade sweater. I already have one on the needles, so once that gets off the needles, I can technically allow myself to cast on the new one. So this is the color that I fell in love with, Grello. These are actually both the same color, but this one has a bit more deeper yellows and deeper grays in it, and this is the lighter version. So I chose the lighter version to come after this color, which is Driftwood Graffiti. Is that it? Yeah, Driftwood Graffiti. So this will be the first color of my fade. This will be the second, third, and then it would go into the fourth, which is Yellow Brick Road Graffiti. So all together, I think this is a beautiful fade. And yeah, this is what I got at Barcelona Knits Festival. So this is going to be the first cast on of my new cast ons once I get a sweater off the needles, because it's just that beautiful. So while we're on the topic of new sweaters, I would like to talk about Paca La Alpaca. This colorway is called Kickstart My Heart. This is something that literally kickstarted my heart because I saw a swatch of this on Instagram. I will plug in the picture here. As you can see in the picture, it is absolutely gorgeous. And I just fell in love with it, and I went right up to the vendor, and they were like, how can we help you? And I was like, this is what I need right here. And I showed them the picture that was from Instagram. And the funny thing is, in the image on Instagram, it was yarn that was single plied merino base, but this one is actually, if you can see the plies here, this one is actually sock base, which is even better for me because it'll make a way much sturdier of a sweater. So I got this. This was my first purchase. I was super, super, super happy. And then I spent the majority of my time at Barcelona Knits Festival looking for something to use as a contrast, and I was able to find this this yarn, very similar sock yarn again, and I don't even know what the color is, but it's hand dyed in Barcelona. And here we go. Color is lipstick. One more row. All you need is love is the store. They actually have a brick and mortar store in Barcelona that I actually love. So I just love how these look together. So what I'm going to do is make the a piece of silver sweater, and it's a turtleneck and it's cropped, but I'm going to lengthen it because I like longer sweaters. And the edge of the turtleneck and the edge of the ribbing along the cuffs and the hem of the waistband, I'm going to make those in this lipstick color here. So I think this is going to make for a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sweater. So yay! So I got some really good purchases. I really decided to take my time. So I got some really good purchases at Barcelona Knits Festival. I really decided to go with something in mind. What do I really want? This has to become an item. I just can't buy like a random skein of something, because if I bought a random skein because it was pretty and then I fell in love with it, let's say a couple months from now, and then I decided, man, I want to make a sweater with that, I would be forced with the task of tracking it down, and it may not be available anymore, or I might just have to fly to Spain again. And I can't just do that on a whim, as much as I would love to, because I did have an awesome time. But I wanted to make sure I planned accordingly so that I had a full, sweaters quantity if I knew I wanted a sweater, and I got enough yarn to do everything that I wanted to do with what I wanted to do. So after sweaters, I have a hat and cowl set that I'm making for a friend of mine that I've known for well over 20 years. So I want to show you what I'm going to make for him, and I want to show you what I bought. So first of all, I want to say that his favorite color is green, and it was kind of difficult to figure out what he wanted because he said he wanted a chunky cabled hat, and he showed me something off of Etsy that was really chunky yarn, and it wasn't even cabled actually. He showed me a ribbed hat, and I was like, you can get something better than this. Come on, I'm knitting this. Like, come on, you can have something way beautiful, more beautiful than just a ribbed chunky hat. And to be honest, I did not want to knit rib forever for a hat. No, like, it's just, I know it's easy, but I would get so sick of it, I probably wouldn't finish the hat. And I didn't want that to happen because this is a really good friend of mine, and I don't want to like have his project being stuck in limbo, you know what I mean? So I decided to do something different. I'm going to make, I should say in the process of making what's the name? The tied knots hat from Justyna Lorkowska. I actually met her in Woolen, and she's super sweet. I'm actually wearing her sweater right now. It's called Fickle Heart. If you want to have a look at it, it's a really beautiful cable sweater. There's a beautiful heart cable design on the background. It's really, really, really nice. But let's get back to business at hand. So let me show you the hat, and then I'll show you the yarn, where I got the yarn from, how the yarn came about, and I also bought more yarn at Barcelona Knits Festival so that I can have give him a matching cowl to go with the sweater, and I'll show you what the cowl is all about too. It's pretty awesome. So before I start, I just want to show off this bag that I got from Miss Kits, which is an actual brick and mortar store in Barcelona. They have a lot of indie dyed yarns as well as commercial dyed yarns as well, and this was made in Amsterdam by Oh Wow Amsterdam, and it is a beautiful bag, and it's perfect. Like I said, it's made at Miss Kits. It is perfect for that 102 skein project. So I have that project in here, and this is the tied knots hat. And what I did is, let me just get that out of the way. So this is just the rib portion of the hat. And it's a beautiful green color called Hunted. And it's Defiant Decay, 100% superwash merino wool from Feisty Fibres. This is my friend Karen, and she is awesome. I met her at Rhinebeck last year, and then I saw her again at Toronto Knitters Frolic. The yarn that I wanted the DK weight, but she didn't have the color that I wanted in the DK weight, so I prepaid her and she shipped it off to me later on, and then we've just been like chit-chatting every day ever since. And then I told her about this particular hat that I want to make for my friend, and she said, oh, the color Hunted would be gorgeous. So we took a picture of it and we sent it to him via text message, and he said, oh, this works. So he wanted to have a longer cuff of the hat, so, or brim, or whatever you want to call it, cuff, right? Yeah, that's what it's called. So I doubled the length so that he can fold it up. And as you can see here, I'm just starting on the cable, so I have to work on this because it is getting cold outside and he has no hair on his head, so he's got to have this hat as quickly as possible. So I had, like I said, I have 2 skeins here, and then I decided that I wanted to make the Snuggle is Real Cow by Maxim Cyr. So I decided it needed to have another DK weight yarn, and I got this at Bien Aimee. And this is the colorway Patagonia. So what I did is I sent him a couple of pictures of yarns that would go with this green, and he chose this. I mean, the internet's a wonderful thing. It's beautiful because you can talk across the world and make decisions. So this is the color he picked, and I think it's beautiful. And then I found the inside, you need baby cereal alpaca for the inside, and this is a Olann, which is a German company, and I bought 2 skeins of that for the inside. So I am going to show a picture of the Snuggle is Real right here. So you see how beautiful this is. It's going to be a slip stitch pattern. It's designed by Maxim Cyr. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. CYR is the last name. And he does a lot of awesome work from what I've seen. He's a designer out of Canada. So I feel happy that, I'm using Canadian yarn in it as well. And I'm happy that it's kind of like an international thing going on here to get all the colors. And it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. So while I was perusing through the different booths at Barcelona Knits Festival, I went to the Retrosaria booth and I found this, which is Mondin yarn. This is actually sock yarn. But what I saw is that they had this knit up in the piece of silver sweater, and that is the sweater that I had on my mind as I was searching for that pink to make with the Paca La Alpaca yarn. So I felt it was kind of like divine intervention that they had the sweater made in this yarn, and then I just immediately totally fell in love with it. And it was like €7 or €8 for this skein, so it's going to be a pair of socks because I like to buy just that one random skein of sock yarn just in case I'm just like, you know what, my hands feel itchy, I want to cast on a sock. And I usually, if you know me, I'll just cast it on from the toe up and just do an afterthought heel and it'll be fine. So this is what I bought. Obviously, I didn't get that itch yet to cast it on because I had so many other things to do. But, I was able to get it, and I really like it. And it feels very sturdy, but not super scratchy. And it will make for a great pair of socks. Actually, when we were staying at the Airbnb, Liz, who was there with me from TreLiz Yarns, she started her sock. And I had to show her how to do the German twisted casting because she's like, I forgot. I'm like, oh, no worries, I got you. So I showed it to her, cast on a sock, and within 2 hours, she had a decent cuff and the beginning of her sock, and it really, really knits up really beautifully. I would highly recommend this. Another thing that's been going on right now is there's a Telegraph sweater that's been designed by Soprano Knits, who's Becky. I met her at Edinburgh years ago, and I love you, Becky. She designed with Mondin yarn from Bien Aimee. So that's the new thing. Everybody's jumping on it. So if you don't know, now you know. Check it out. I need to check it out myself so I can see if there's something that I want to buy, that a colorway that I really fall in love with, so that I can be down and get the sweater too, because it's a beautiful sweater. So yeah, Mondin yarn, Retrosaria, Bien Aimee, check it out. Let me show you what else I got. So let me tell you a little story about Barcelona Knits Festival. Of course I got there like a few minutes late, right? But it's okay, things happen, right? So I walk in, I was at the Stephen West, I took the Stephen West color class or lecture. Yeah, it was a lecture. So of course I went into the wrong building. I didn't know where I was going, and everyone's talking to me in Spanish. So of course I had to translate very quickly and realize, oh yeah, I'm in the wrong building and I have to go wherever she told me to go. I figured it out. So I got there a little bit late, but it's okay. I walk in and everyone's showing off their shawls, which is absolutely beautiful. And we all know Stephen West is all about amazing, bright, beautiful colors. So there was a shawl that he had called Wavy Wiggles. And when you see it in the actual pattern page, it is made in one specific way, color blocked, you know. He makes it in his way. But then he was explaining how you can take a shawl that is made for like high contrast and switch it around and do something with like a fade. And I was just like, you know, that could really work. So then he holds up this shawl by a friend of mine named Orietta. She's actually in Italy. And this was our first time actually meeting up, because we've been on the virtual knit night, basically a group chat, video group chat that encompasses the whole world. We've been talking on that off and on, because we both are busy and we're not on it all the time, but I saw her and I was like, oh my God. And then Stephen holds up her shawl, which was absolutely beautiful. So he basically said, in a joking manner, but it was hilarious, you just take all the colors and you throw them together, and if it doesn't go together, it will go together. You just put them together and it goes together. And her shawl was absolutely beautiful. It went from like one end of the color spectrum to another, and it just flowed really nicely. So I had that in mind as I was shopping around. And then the last day, I think this was my last purchase, I was at the Olann booth. Now I saw Olann yarn in Ireland at Woolen, but I was so like, I wanted this Donegal tweed sweater that I was just like, I couldn't think of anything else. And then I wanted the pink Donegal tweed and they didn't have it. And she's like, oh, you know, send me a message. I'll get it to you on Etsy, you know, whatever. But I just never got around to doing it, but it's still been stuck on my mind. So I said, let me just check out her booth and see what she has to see if I fall in love with anything. So let me show you what I fell in love with, and then let me tell you what happened. So I fell in love with this Olann color called Fig, and I had to buy 2 skeins of it. One is going to be for my shawl, and another one is going to be for a pair of socks, because it is so beautiful. And Olann's booth just happened to be next to Bien Aimee, and Stephen West was right over there. So he came up to me, he goes, Shamika, did you find the pink you were looking for yesterday when I was looking for the pink to go with my Paca La Alpaca? And I said, oh yeah, of course, but now I have another problem. So I told him I was in love with this color. And I showed him a picture of some stash that I had, because when me and TreLiz were looking for stash yarn for my sweater out of Bellota magazine, I had, you know, some residual pictures left in my phone. So I showed him pictures of my stash. So I came up with these yarns, and I figure I could do a full fade of like white with speckles into like more of a touch of pink, into more pink, more pink, more pink. And I think this will be absolutely beautiful for that Wavy Wiggles shawl. And this is just going to be one of those shawls that, you know, you just cast on and just knit whenever, and you just pick up another color whenever you're ready to like go to the next one. And what he explained is that it's literally, when you start that first portion, there's a repeat portion, and then you just add more to the edge to make it asymmetrical. So you're basically just repeating. So let me show you these colors that I think is going to be awesome. This is a Knit Picks Hawthorne Graffiti Speckle, and And this was a Circus Tonic handmade Ravelry sock, Circus Tonic. I don't remember where I got this. I might have, oh, Revelry sock, not Ravelry, oops. I might have bought this at Do You Knit years ago. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Garn Stories, this colorway is called Delph Blooms. I remember Christy Glass had gotten me this from Edinburgh the first time she went, which is the year after I had went, and I had gotten her a skein of yarn for her birthday, so this was her thank you for being my yarn mule present, which I thought was awesome. This one is a skein of Backyard Fiberworks that I picked up. It's called USA Rosada, no, Casa Rosada. Very, very, very fitting for being in Barcelona, or knitting a sweater, knitting a shawl with yarn that I got from Barcelona. Casa Rosada, pink house. Yes, I wish my house was totally pink, but yeah. So this is the next color, and then we have the Olann color in Fig, which I think works perfectly. So you will see a Wavy Wiggles shawl at some point. The good thing about the shawl is, you can cast on and start, and you can just stop whenever you feel like it, or you could just keep going and going and going. You can add more repeats if you want to. So I will have enough, I have certainly enough yarn to use up all this, to take up all the space that the shawl needs. And what I love about Stephen West shawls is, like, he can say, oh, it takes 3 skeins of yarn, or it takes 4 skeins of yarn. And it could literally take 20 mini skeins if you wanted to. So, it's a great, great, great stash buster. And like I said, I've just bought 2 more skeins. One of them is going to be socks. So I will have knocked out 4 yarns out of my stash, and I think that's pretty awesome. And I could also keep a piece of those 4 yarns and make like a stash sock to match the shawl. Oh my God. Now, let me tell you something about sock yarn. I used to think that you had to do toe-up socks to use up all of the yarn in the skein, and then, oops, sorry, my low battery thing started showing me something. Yeah, I used to think that you had to, like, okay, so this yarn is 425 meters. So I would have to start at the toe, split it in half, knit 2 at a time to use up all 425 meters of this sock yarn to make the most of these socks. This was way back in the day, before Stephen West was on and popping, before he said to the world, you know what, just grab a random skein, grab a random whatever amount of leftover yarn and throw it into the shawl. So now you have so many options for your leftovers, and you don't feel like it's a leftover shawl. It doesn't feel like second rate, because it's a beautiful shawl and you've utilized all of your yarn. So I'm really, really, really excited to make that shawl. So that's another thing to add to the list. But let me show you one more thing that I casted on, and I will tell you about my knit along. Okay, so I have to correct myself. I said knit along. I really meant make along, because in my along, you can do whatever you want. So it's called Festival to Festival, MAL. So basically, the yarn that you've gotten at any festival anywhere in the world is eligible. And the hope is that you complete something so you can wear it to another festival. That would be just beyond awesome. But hey, if you don't want to wear it to a festival, if you want to give it away as a gift, or if you just want to wear it, go right ahead. So basically, it started at the beginning of November, and I wanted to start it right after Rhinebeck, but it was just like too much. I had to get the artwork completed, so I finally did, and then I posted it up. So anything casted on that you cast on from November 1st, and it ends on, I think, the Friday of Vogue Knitting Live. Hopefully we can have a meetup and everyone can wear their sweaters on the Saturday, or not sweaters, sorry. They're items. I'm just saying sweater because, of course, I'm going to do a sweater, right? Because that's what I do. But the good thing is you can knit, crochet, spin, or weave. whatever you want to. The world is your oyster, okay? I actually have a friend who is spinning the yarn to make a sweater for the knit along. She is amazing. And she also does bags. So I will show you her bag pretty soon. You're gonna think it's awesome and you're gonna be kind of upset that you didn't grab one. But yeah, so I decided to have whips are allowed as well as new cast-ons, and I'm going to have two prizes, one prize for the whips and one prize for the cast-on. You can check out all the information in my Ravelry group, and also I had one of the members asked if we could use yarn from yarn crawls. Would that be considered a festival? So I put something out on Instagram, I made a poll, and everybody said, well, the majority of people, I think 13% didn't want it, but hey, you know, the other majority wins. So yes, if you bought something at a yarn crawl, you can use it in the festival MAL. So we have a lot of nice things being made. I already one of our members already made a sweater. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy she finished it. And it's like giving me a kick in the butt to make another sweater, which means I got to get all my other sweaters off the needles because I would just accumulate way too much needles. So without any further ado, let me show you what I did start for this make along. Okay, so first I want to show you this bag designed by my friend Elisa, also known as Knit Spin Quilt. Here is there we go, Knit Spin Quilt. And this is the Hidden Figures bag, and I think this is absolutely awesome and beautiful because it shows women just being amazing in all that they are. So I bought this at Rhinebeck, actually at Indie Untangled, and then at Indie Untangled I saw Liz of TreLiz yarns, and this was her Rhinebeck colorway, and it's called, it's a Game of Thrones reference. It's called When You Play the Game of Indie. Yeah, so kind of like when you play the Game of Thrones. Yeah. And then this color is called Guerrilla Girls. So what was going on during that time is that the Lizzie shawl had just been released, and the Lizzie shawl, if you can see right here, designed by Sosu Knits, is just basically a brioche triangle and garter masterpiece. So this is what I have started. I started this actually while in Barcelona, so it's after the November 1st deadline, or beginning line, whatever you want to call it. So I've been working on this, and I was super happy, and everything was going well, and then I found a mistake. So you see right here, there's an increase. The same increase should have been here. So this brioche branch here should be here as well. So I've been ripping back for the past 2 days. I'm not really happy that I had to rip back, but the problem is it throws the counts off between both triangles by a stitch, which means that all the resultant triangles will not match up, and it just irritates me, so I had to pull it back. So I'm still ripping back, but you will see more progress on this. This is actually going to be a gift from my mom. She likes orange, so this is what, you know, so when I came home from Vogue Knitting Live, I'm sorry, not Vogue Knitting Live, when I came home from Rhinebeck, I pulled out all my yarn, and she picks up that yarn. She says, "Ooh, for me?" And I'm like, I did want to make something for myself. But I actually bought another quantity of yarn to make that same shawl from Kemper of, God, why can't I? Junk Yarn, duh. So I bought Junkyard yarn to make a matching one for me. So it's going to be like purpley, teal, and hot pink. So I don't feel so bad giving up my orange yarn. Yeah, it's mommy. I can always borrow it. Give it back to her, right? Yeah. So another reason I want to make this shawl perfect, because if my mom walks around with it and she says, "Oh, my daughter made this," I don't want, you know, it to like look lopsided. It has to, the numbers have to match up. So that's what I'm doing. So that is what I have on the needles today. So what else am I doing today? I am going to keep plugging away at unraveling this shawl. And I am really happy that I was able to show you the stuff I got at Barcelona Knits Festival. It was really awesome. And yeah, we have a birthday party to go to later on as a surprise for a friend. It's like a brunch, but a late brunch leading into dinner type of thing. And I'm just hanging out in the house, relaxing, because I have to work tomorrow. Thanksgiving is all done. We cooked up a storm. I think I'm actually going to insert a video of our Thanksgiving meal here so that you could see, like, we worked really, really, really hard. And what I love to do is I have a lot of, well, first of all, it's United Nations in my house, so all cuisines are welcome. So I always do a mixture because if you didn't already know, I am Trinidadian. My family heritage is from Trinidad. But we also have Indian in our family, and we have Venezuelan in our family as well. So there's always that mixture of different cultures that is reflected in our food. So I always welcome food of many different cultures in my belly. So what we did is we did a lot of Trini food. We did a lot of American food, but we also added in some splurges of different cultures. There's some Italian in there. There's some Tex-Mex. There's some Chinese. So we absolutely love it, and we eat it all. So there you go. So I will show you a video, of the food that we had for Thanksgiving. And basically I had to sleep for like a good 24 hours to recover from Thanksgiving because I had to work the next day and I was just super, super tired. So I'm totally recovered now and just relaxing today because it's Sunday. We're just having a lazy Sunday, and then we're gonna go to brunch later. So I will have the video coming right up. Okay, this is my Thanksgiving. We got garlic shrimp, camarones ajillo, cantaloupe, collard greens, because we are Trini and American, Brussels sprouts, stewed peas, garlic aioli, cranberry sauce, turkey, of course, lo mein, sweet potato casserole, broccoli casserole, and this is the baked ziti, macaroni pie, potato salad, cucumber chowder, and let's go over here, peas and rice, corn pudding, meatballs, fried fish. I think that's all. You ready? We're ready for it. Happy Thanksgiving. Okay, so here's another tidbit into my life. I am a graphic designer, if you didn't already know that, and I like to design my covers for my Vlogmas videos. So yeah, my computer's like acting really crazy. So right here you can see I belong to the, oh, my battery's low. Okay, goodbye. Why did I do that? That works on my other computer. Anyway, you see that I am a Adobe member, and here we are in the Adobe stock section, and I'm in my library right now, and I decided I wanted to have a rose gold Christmas theme. If you remember last year, I had a rose gold Christmas theme, and I just want to do it again. So I'm trying to source some images that give me that feel of rose gold. This image here, I actually really like, but I would actually have to go into Photoshop and change the blue to a more festive rose gold color. But I learned how to do that in class, haha. But anyway, this is something I really like as well. And then this really captures the essence of Christmas and knitting for me. And then this is more of that Hugo feel. So I'm really having a hard time. I like this one too because it's like an explosion of Christmas goodness here. I'm really having a hard time choosing a background, but hey, maybe I'll switch it out. We'll see what happens. So yeah, I'm in the process of editing these photos right now so that I can have a background for my Vlogmas. There you go. Life of a graphic designer. I just can't turn it off even if it's not actual work. So if you're wondering what I'm doing today and how I'm spending my time, I just decided to create a new song for the intro of this Vlogmas. So I'm sitting here searching for music and thinking of ways to switch around the words to make it more appropriate. If you're seeing this now, then you have probably actually seen, actually heard what I've made up. So I hope you like it. I just wanted to do something fun and interesting for this holiday. So I can't get to work on my graphic design stuff yet because my mom just asked me to help her with the lights on the Christmas tree. We have to make sure they all work before we start adding ornaments. These are all the ornaments. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be beautiful in the end though. So here we are, and we're about to get to work on this today. So yeah, we've managed to light up the whole Christmas tree, as you can see. And it was a labyrinth of connecting wires, but we were able to get it done. So yay! So I think now we're gonna have a little snack before we go out, before we start getting ready to go out to our brunch dinner, birthday celebration. I don't know what to call it because it's brunch, but it's after 4 p.m., which is technically not brunch, but whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna get something to eat now. Hi guys, sorry for the lighting, it's a bit dark, but I'm here at Caribbean Social for the birthday party that we are doing. We are here before the birthday girl, which is phenomenal. So when she walks in, I will show you her surprise. And let's just take a pan of the room. It's a little dark, but it's beautiful. So it's a little bit of the Caribbean in Flatbush. Hello!
Hello!
Surprise!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you!
Hi guys, so I'm here back home after dinner and just here working on the cover for the Vlogmas video background, whatever you want to call it, the intro, that's what it's called. I didn't get a chance to finish earlier, so I just did the finishing touches on it. So yeah, so let's talk about dinner. We had a prefix menu at Caribbean Social, and what we had was a sampler of spring rolls, jerk chicken, Chinese style. It was a sweet chili chicken, and also what was the other thing? Macaroni and cheese balls, and like a little salad in the middle. So that was the little starter plate, and then I had salmon. We were supposed to have sweet potatoes, but the kitchen ran out, and then they offered us mashed potatoes, so we took the mashed potatoes, and that also came with sautéed spinach. We were supposed to have bread pudding with a rum glaze at the end of the night, but we didn't have that because the kitchen didn't have enough, so they gave us cheesecake instead, which is fine, and there was like blueberries on top, which is pretty lovely. But my question is, if you have 13 people showing up for dinner and you offer them the prefix menu and you say that they can only offer from the prefix menu, and you know that there's a guarantee that you're going to have 13 guests, and you know that you're only serving one dessert, and you have all the time during the day to make this dessert, wouldn't you make sure it's made by the time the dinner party gets there at 5 p.m.? Just wondering, you know. I don't know. I mean, I don't work in a kitchen, but just wondering, like, you know for sure that people are coming and this is the only option you give them. So, But anyway, I'll take the cheesecake. It's fine. I'm not going to complain. But I'm just, sometimes you just wonder. Maybe I watch too much Kitchen Confidential type TV shows or too much Gordon Ramsay or whatever. But I'm just curious as to what people are thinking behind the scenes in kitchens or whatever. But it's just because I love food. I can't help it. But hey, whether it's rum raisin bread pudding or cheesecake, I will be happy with that. I have dessert. It's sweet and it's delicious, so I am okay with it. Overall, I enjoyed my experience there. I would definitely go back. There were a lot of things on the menu that looked very appetizing. As far as the Caribbean, the real Caribbean dishes, because they kind of watered it down a little bit to make it more Americanized, which is fine. But the actual, like the jerk chicken was really jerk chicken, and it was jerked and it was hot and full of flavor. Not just pepper, but the seasoning was well seasoned. So I definitely would go back. I would say that the music was a bit loud, so it was very difficult to talk to someone across the table, but we were able, I could speak to someone next to me or whatever. So if you're going on a date and you just want to like talk all night, this is not the place for you. But if you're going to like just have a fun time with friends, chill by the bar, grab a bite to eat, and just like hang out, and you don't necessarily want to be having too much conversation, but maybe, hey, you might want to dance or something, definitely it is the place to go. I know it's usually really, really, really packed during the summertime because people just want to hang out and have a good time, get a few drinks in. So, yeah, and the food was not disappointing. I'm very glad that the kitchen staff decided that when they realized there was, a improper amount of food in the specific dishes that they offered for all of us, I'm really glad that they were upfront about it and came and said, hey, we can offer you this, we can offer you that, offering, substantial alternatives to whatever. Things happens, whatever. It's the weekend, whatever. Maybe they get their shipments in on a certain day and they ran out of certain items. I don't know. But that being said, I will go back. I do want to see how it is, the bar scene, how that is on like maybe a Friday night or something like that. Again, this was a Sunday. It was pretty dead in there. But then again, it was like snowstorm happening. It was not snowing. It was just like freezing rain. And let me just add that I wore my new jeans from Old Navy that have a thermal lining inside of them. They're not jeans. They feel more like cloth pants material, not really like denim, but anyway. And they turned out pretty darn good. Like, I just had on regular stockings underneath, and my legs were not cold at all. So I'm looking forward to investing into more of these pairs of pants, and I highly recommend them, especially if you live in the Northeast or in Canada or anywhere where it's cold. It was like more like freezing rain. It wasn't quite 32 degrees for like snow, flakes to fall, but when the wind chill kicked in and the wind started blowing and it blew the rain up into your face, it was not fun. So, so I would highly recommend getting these jeans from Old Navy. They were about $40, but there's like all these Cyber Monday deals going on and all these sales going on, and you could probably not spend the full $40 for these jeans, because I know I didn't. Old Navy has the super cash right now where you buy stuff and you earn cash towards money off of a future purchase on a specific day that they say. So I think I've earned about $90 in super cash in the past couple of weeks that I've bought things. So I will be buying more of these jeans, and I might buy some more for people in my family as gifts, because they are good and they are worth it, and you must get them. So that is my plug for Old Navy. No, it's not sponsored. I'm just happy to have these jeans. So before I call it a night, I want to show you a yarn package that came to me. I ordered the Game of Thrones 12 Days of Christmas set from Ginger Snap, which is a yarn dyer out of Alberta, Canada. I actually met her when I went to Knit City about, was it 2 or 3 years ago? And she's still going strong, still dyeing yarn, and everything is beautiful. So I received this when I was in Barcelona, actually. That's when it was delivered. And I haven't had a chance to really open it, so we are gonna do the unboxing with me right now. Okay, we wish you a Merry Christmas. And I have, whoa, these are like really hefty packages here. They feel really heavy. So yeah, so there are a total of, I am assuming 12. Yes, there are 12. So basically, I can't open these just yet. But I am very happy to have them. Ha ha ha. I am very happy to have them because I love Game of Thrones. If anybody who knows me, they know I love Game of Thrones. I went super crazy for the finale, and then I was super disappointed, but still kind of like, oh yeah, I can see that happening. And even, okay, I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but I watched Vikings, and I saw a lot of similarities in the end where, I'd say the last episode with Jon Snow and Daenerys, it reminded me of something that happened in Vikings. And I was like, ah, yeah, I've seen this before. So, but anyway, so I'm gonna wait until like it's the 12 days of Christmas. I'm gonna wait until that to open up these yarn purchases, and they are 50-gram skeins of yarn. So I'm contemplating making a Stephen West shawl with my yarn, because if I have 50 grams times 12, that's about not 600, 300 grams of yarn, which would equate to about 3 skeins of yarn, 3 normal like fingering weight skeins. So let's see what happens. So I will keep you posted on that, and I am going to continue editing right now. I had a wonderful December 1st, and I'm winding down a little bit, and yeah, let's get Vlogmas going. So have a happy December, everyone, and I don't even know what else to say. Happy Vlogmas. And please don't mind the mess behind me. The tree still has to go get, you know, it's still bare, and we still have lots of decorations there. But anyway, that's for another day, because I am tired. Do you see this? Yep. It's not a bag. It's not luggage. It's just tiredness. That's what it is. Have a good night, guys.